Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the Morning. 15 minutes to change, Mitzvah Hashem, to change our lives. This shir is sponsored Nishmas Devar Leah Bas Chaim Arim Lizchus Hiskalus Mashiach Achshav. We at Living Chassidus send our support for a dear member who just lost her mother, unfortunately. This is also the shir and this whole series with the Mitzvah Hashem. By the time we finish this series, we'll already be with Mashiach, who is in honor of the safety of all the hostages and all the soldiers and all the Yidden around the world and in Eretz Yisrael. Let's begin this famous series of Maimarim. So this is called Kuchas Hamayim. Kuchas Hamayim is from the Rebbe Rashab. It's very big. It has 28 Maimarim in it, and each Maimarim there's different chapters. And like I said in the title, it's really about learning who we are and how to hone that in to help us achieve our greatness. This is I don't know if this is the first version of it. This is reprinted. It's like this, and it's interesting because the first bit, interesting enough, talks about a lot of different other things. There's letters of the Rebbe Rashab, also about Zionism and his issues with it. And then it starts right in the middle of the book, the Kuchas Hamayim. We have the Baruch Hashem Heritage Series came out with one nice big fat book, and that's what we're going to use to learn from. So welcome to the journey. Mitzvah Hashem. Before Tishrei next year, we'll be done. We'll try to go through one parak a day. There's 28 Maimarim. And in each Maimon, there's maybe, anywhere between 2 and 6 parakim. Yeah. So let's begin. Basically, we're going to start talking about today is, and the first Maimon is about shtus, learning what shtus is, and also understanding how things work. Meaning there's different levels of pleasure, different types of pleasure we talk about. And what's the pleasure that we should be having in? And something to note that everything we learn here, we're not just learning it to be, sometimes you'll hear things, especially from the Rebbe Rashab, he tells you straight as it is. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to hear. We shouldn't ever let it get us down, because that's not the point of it. The Rebbe Rashab is not trying to put you down, chas v'shalom. He's trying to make you realize what your potential is. And as we learn here, you might say, hey, I'm not holding there. I'm way below this level. That's fine. It's not about where we're holding. It's about we're learning this to try to get ourselves to a better place and understanding what we could do. Hey, I didn't realize that I'm much greater than that. And I should be working towards revealing my greatness. So let's begin. Maimer Aleph, Parak Aleph. Whoever has this Sefer or any other version, probably should have it. It's page 27. So in Beis Hashem, Yetziv Hishka Anachal Shit. It says in Yoel that a Mayan, a well goes out and the Hishka, and it waters the river Shittim. Yes, we're going to discuss Shittim like we've learned in the past from Basel Gani, Shittim lost in Shtus. So in Medrash Rabbah, it says in the Medrash Balak, in Parshas Balak, Befare Shittim Lashon Shtus. So it says Shittim. What does it mean? Shittim, it means Shtus. In the book of the source of letters, of words, it types what does it mean, the sherish of Shita? It's Perish Shittim, Lashon Hatah, the language of turning. I'm going to explain there's 2 languages for this word Shita. Like it says about it, and she turns from the right path, as Rashi explains the Perish Rashi, Kisishte Tate Midachet Sneas. She turned away from the ways of Sneas. So that's one way of explaining what does it mean Shita. Shtus. Targum Al Vayet Alel, and the Targum Unkelus, how does he explain Vayet Alel? He says Ustar Levasam. And she turned V'Hashem zeh nikra hayetzer hara, and that's why the Yetzer Hara is called Satan. Hashem shem misate umat es adam miderech hatov, because he turns a person from going on the good path. V'achakach, and then afterwards, mastin, he comes and he prosecutes you. L'mayla v'noit, or he turns himself above v'noita. Let's like it becomes the makatreg. So that's why the Yetzer Hara is so bad, because on one hand, Yetzer Hara comes and tells us do this, and then when we do the wrong thing, he goes l'mayla, and he becomes the judge, and he goes, look what you did, and you're like, hey, and in simple English, we let's say we don't go to bed when we should, when we stay up late doing whatever we shouldn't be doing, and then the next morning we wake up and we're like, such an idiot, why did I go to bed so late? And then we start to go down that like negative spiral. This is the Yetzer Hara. He's the one that told you to stay up. So why now is he coming or she coming to come and put us down? It's so weird. If you think about it, it's not logical. It's like I stayed up, I chose to stay up. So why am I now getting myself all down about staying up? And this applies to anything in life. And a lot of what we're learning here in Kuntres Hamayim, a lot of it requires some alone time to think about these things and recognize these things, because we all do these types of things, but not necessarily recognize it. And the job of one of the main things that Chassidus is trying to bring us is to recognize these things, so we can work on it and be in a better place. But what we're seeing here, Yetzer Hara comes and he's called Risata, and he comes and what does he say? On one hand, he comes and tells you stay up or do this thing or eat this or say this, but then he gets angry. Then we get angry about why we did this. And so why are we angry? If we did it because I want to, so we can't take both sides. And this is also what explains in the Medrash. Shittim lashon shtus. That shittim some things of shtus. Ki'in ashtus hu hatam midach. Shtus is turning away from the path of truth. And that's what we find by the words of the rabbis shechibru based in Yanim Elum. That he took these two things. It's turning and it's shtus. That really they connect these two things. Kedis, the Gemara says in the Gemara himself to Saita, Al Pasuk Kisish, like the same pasuk about the woman turning straight with regards to the Saita. What does it say? It says, "Ein Adam Eva Avera Ela Im Kein Nifs Beruch Shtus." The Gemara says the person doesn't do an Avera and it's the spirit of shtus, folly. Something that doesn't make any sense. We shouldn't naturally do an Avera. The Rebbe says in a Secha that doing an Avera is like jumping to the fire. We wouldn't say I by accident jumped into the fire. And this is what happens. But so why does it happen? But Yetzer Hara comes and it makes us do this. Hare shehas shita, that this folly ushtus hu inyanecha, really the turning and the shtus are one thing. Shehu hatam midach emes. The main thing, what is it? It's turning away from the path of truth. In the good path. So we're not doing good things, we're not doing things that are correct. That's coming from the Yetzer Hara. That's coming from the side that's trying to push us away from the Derech HaTov. Look over there for more. So now he's going to get a little bit more practical. This, a person comes to go against the ways of Torah, and to go after the taivas of his heart. That we go and we follow these desires. To have humanistic pleasures. And now he's going to explain in his bracket, it's a long bracket, and he's going to explain. And this is a truth of Chassidus, meaning people don't talk about this, but Chassidus teaches us, and it's not like Chassidus is making a new thing. This is just the reality that Chassidus is bringing to light, which is we have to understand why we do anything. And it could be something, just because it's kosher, it doesn't mean it's hefker and we can just do whatever we want. The food is kosher, so I can eat a tub of ice cream. No, it doesn't work that way. You can, meaning technically you can. Technically, it's not non-kosher. But we have to ask ourselves, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And this is sort of the $1 million question. Why? Most things in life are permissible. But the question is, what are we going to do with it? And why are we going to do it? Like, why am I interacting with this. And that's what we're going to talk about. I feel it one more time, even things that are permissible. Kasher, ma'aneg, nafshe, b'tainuge, v'sin fuke, b'nei adam. The person is having just regular pleasure. Yes, more than what we need for our sustenance, meaning there's eating because this is healthy, and there's eating solely because it tastes good. Now, you could argue that let's say you had a bad day, and you're feeling not good, and you want to pick me up, and so you go, I'm going to get some ice cream and pick me up. Now, the question is, what's that ice cream going to do for you? If you eat the ice cream and then you go and you do something good, you daven, you learn, you call a friend, you do something positive, so then the ice cream was elevated. But if you just eat the ice cream and nothing comes out of it, nothing positive, or just something negative, so then it's a problem. And that's what we're saying. Really, you have to ask yourself the question when you eat, why am I eating? And this is the mono question, why? Before we do things, we have we have to think about what are we doing here? Is this the healthy thing for me to eat, or just tastes good? And that's what we're saying. And this not just goes for food, it goes for everything that we interact with. Am I watching this? Or am I reading this? Am I saying this? Or am I thinking this? Is this for my benefit? Or is this for something wrong, negative? All right. This also goes against the ways of Torah. We are obligated to sanctify ourselves with whatever is permissible. Meaning, just because it's kosher or it's allowed, it's not asur, that doesn't mean it's mutter. Like it says in the Chinuch, which he says it's a positive mitzvah from the Torah. Also in Tanya, in Parak Lamed, says this. And this is a mitzvah that just because, and people might think it's a little intense, but it's just, I think it's a reality. This is the reality. It's like a simple example. A person that wants to be successful in something, they have to push themselves. And they can't say, oh, it's good enough, I'll just take breaks. Yeah, we also, taking breaks is important, but we have to understand why we're doing things. And this is sort of the homework, to think about why we do these things. And only made permissible, the Rabbi Shab says, only what is for need. Because and therefore, when you come to eat something, you're not caring so much about the taste. And this tastes so good, as much as with the power of this food. So when you think about the food in the sense of how can it benefit me, and you think about the questions of what we do with ourselves, with our lives, what are we watching, what do we intake, especially now with the war going on, what am I intaking, when am I watching this? Is this going to help me help another soldier, or help a person that's captive, or is it going to make me feel good or feel bad? And this is the question we ask ourselves of everything that we interact with. So with everything, it has to be l'shem shamayim. So therefore, everything we do, we have to analyze, where is it coming from? Is it just for my pleasure, or is it to help me, to serve a purpose? And that's with everything he's saying. And therefore, so when you go drawn after this, see if you're doing it just for pleasure, or just for my enjoyment, without any ulterior motive. And everyone else can be honest with themselves. You can't come and say, I'm never going to do anything anymore, I'm not going to have fun. Of course you're going to have fun. But now the fun is just I'm having fun, but I'm having fun because this is a mitzvah. I need to take a break. I need to take a break from whatever I'm doing. I came back from work. I need a break so I can go do something and fun. I can watch something or whatever it is. And it's all part of the same. But what we're doing here is we're elevating everything, making it more purposeful. Whereas if you're doing it just for pure pleasure's sake and no ulterior, no higher motive, he's saying for that time period, it's awesome. Now, of course, it's awesome until we elevate it. So let's say you eat the top of ice cream for only reason I want to eat a top of ice cream, tastes good. But then afterwards, you say, you know what? Like, why did I do that? It's not so good. Let me go call a friend, see how they're doing, or let me do a mitzvah for a soldier. So then you elevate it. It's not like totally done. We'll try to finish off quickly. This parak. And the reason is because you're drawing after the physical pleasures, and there's no purpose. And really the question that we're going to ask ourselves is, why do I do the things that I'm doing? And we're going to analyze things, not to be crazy. It's not only every single thing you do, you ask yourself, but in general, say, am I eating? Is this healthy for me? Is this a healthy option, or just this is just what I enjoy? And it goes with everything. So who all day this all comes about. Why do we go? So why do we have this challenge? Because we have Yetzer Hara. Because he says to you, this is good. Like it says, it's good for the eyes. It looks good. Like it says, like it says by Chetz Adas and Bereshis. He said, look, looks good, looks tasty. Pleasurable for the eyes. And she took and she ate. She also gave it to her husband to eat. But why were they eating it? It wasn't because he's saying here in the pshat that he's using here. They ate it not because of any altruistic motive, just because it tastes good, it looks good, and we got to elevate ourselves. And this is what we're going to talk about in the next few parakim. Like, we're much greater than this, and we shouldn't live on this baseline. Kitzer, the summary. Shittim. The word shittim, sharsha shita, is from the language of turning. There's two ways. One that ties the turning, another one is shtus. That it's folly. It's things we do things that doesn't make any sense. That really we shouldn't be doing this, but we just do it anyway. The pleasure in physical, permissible things. This is going against what the Torah wants from us. Which all comes about from the Yetzer Hara. Meaning the fact that we do it is part of nature because we have Yetzer Hara. And we got to realize that we shouldn't just say, this is who I am. I can be above this. Shemat is that he turns a person away from the path of truth. And he also goes up, and then suddenly he prosecutes you, and this is the Satan. And that's the Yetzer Hara. So we got to recognize when we're making the bad mistakes that we constantly do, but it feels so good. I want to do it. Why? Like, every morning you say to yourself, I'm going to go to bed on time. And you're exhausted. And then every night you're like, I'll stay up later. So that's recognized. So the recognition we have to have is that's the Yetzer Hara. That's what he's trying to get us to do these things. And you say to yourself, tomorrow, what's going to be? Tomorrow in the morning, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to be exhausted, I'm going to be unhappy. Why did I do this? And we go through this vicious cycle. We go through this all the time. But what we have to realize is that where's it coming from? Who's telling us to do this? And that's our Yetzer Hara. And hopefully when we see that, say, 1 second, are you trying to help me? Is it trying to make my life better? Is it trying to get me more connected to Hashem? To help another Yid? Or the opposite? And if it is, then maybe I shouldn't be listening to it. And ultimately, as we're going to explain later, we are the choices of creation. The whole world is for us. So we should live up to that expectation that we have of ourselves. Have an amazing day.
Thank you.
Thank you.